Hello, this is Brother Frankie. I'm here today to introduce you to the Java programming language. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about and create a program called Hello World. And this is very common in practice when you're learning a new programming language. You write a little program, a little standalone program that just prints out the words to the screen that says Hello World. You'll see that all the time. At times you may go to job interviews where people will ask you to write a Hello World program in whatever programming language you're learning. And so we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started, this is the first video I have for you for this semester. And so I would like to introduce myself just a little bit. Again, my name is Aaron Frankie. You can just call me Brother Frankie. I live in Cedar Hills, Utah. I've been married 28 years and have 5 children. And I've been coding with the Java programming language for many years. I really enjoy coding with Java. Forgive me, I've got everything focused on my screen right here, and so because this is where we'll be focusing our time, and we'll be doing that with a lot of videos this semester. Let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions about my bio, you can log on to Canvas and look at that and see what's in there about me. There's all kinds of good information in Canvas about the announcements and different things, and so you'll want to look in there, and I will be producing another video about that, and there is other information available about that. But here we go. Let's talk about Hello World. So first of all, we'll pull this down here. I have just an application open here. It's called Text Wrangler. Text Wrangler is just a simple text editor, and in here I have put some basic Java code. Notice that the class name, the name of the class right here, which is everything you're going to write in Java, is all going to be a class, except for maybe what's something called an interface, but that's down the line. You don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, don't worry about too much other than learning the concepts a bit of what we do in the command line, and I'll get to that in just a second. Notice though, with the name of the class is the same name as the file. And then we have this little string right here on line 2. Public static void main string args. That in any command line Java program you write is always going to be there. That tells the Java virtual machine where to start running, where to start to execute its code. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and do 3 things. We're going to compile this program, and then we're going to run the program and see the output of what it does, and we'll show you what the result of what it does when you compile it. Compiling means what it's going to do is it's going to run, it's going to take this text and convert it into what we call bytecode. And then bytecode is interpreted by the Java virtual machine, and we'll explain that in just a minute. So let's get to the commands that we do this with. So this window right here, this is on a Mac. This is what we call a terminal window. If you don't know how to get to this, let me show you how that's done. You open up a Finder window. Finder's just in the, if you look at your menu that pops up there at the bottom of the screen, or if you've got it to the side, however you've got it configured, there's an option called Finder. And what you want to do is click on Applications and scroll down to your applications. Go to your Utilities folder. There's a Utilities folder right here. Open up your Utilities folder, and then there is a application called Terminal. And what Terminal does, if you're not familiar with it already, is it lets you, it allows you to go and type in commands to navigate around into your file system. And so if anybody has any questions about that, we can spend some time one-on-one and talk about that a little bit. Teach you a little bit about that. If you know how to do this, then this is just old hat. You don't need to worry about it. So you want to click on that and open up a window. Now I have my terminal window configured in such a way that it looks the way that it does. I just have a little thing here that has a prompt. If your prompt when you open it up looks different from that, that's fine. You don't need to worry about that. I customized mine to look like that. And again, that's another subject. If it's something you want to learn, I can teach you how to do that. So one command that we use a lot in the terminal window is what's called present working directory. Type in pwd and it tells us where we're at on the file system. Macintosh has a very basic file structure that looks like this. So when you log in, it logs you into your home directory. Mine is /users/afrankie. That's my home directory. That's where it puts me on the file system, and so that's how the computer knows where all of my programs are. I have created a directory called Hello World, and inside that directory is my program called helloworld.java. So I can type this command ls, which means list the files in the directory, and it shows me what is in the directory. Now, the way that we're going to compile this and run this is we're going to use two commands. The first one is a command called javac, and there are some configuration things that we go through. That's in the syllabus, and you can look at that. And again, if you have any questions or issues setting that up, that's something we can go through and help you figure that out so that we can get you set up. Javac means take the Java program and compile it into bytecode. Right now I am using version. If you type this in javac space dash and then version, it tells you what version of the compiler you're running on. I'm running on Java 1.8.0_151. That's what's going to compile the program. So let's go ahead and let's compile the Hello World program. I type in javac, and this is a nice feature, just so you know. You don't have to type in the whole thing. If you just type in part of the word, hit tab, it will finish out. It will finish out and print out the whole string for you. So I run that, and it compiles it. Now, if you remember up at the top, there's one program in there. It was called helloworld.java. Now there's two. helloworld.class is the bytecode file. That has been combined, that has compiled the text that exists right here in this little editor, and it's compiled it into bytecode. So now we want to execute and run the program. Now I'm going to use what we call as Java Virtual Machine. Instead of javac, it's Java. And it's the same command. I can do a Java -version on here, and notice it gives me some more version information about the Java Virtual Machine. So now I can type in Java Hello World. Now in this case I don't need to include the .class. It already knows that, oh, there's a file out there and I need to look for it, and it's going to look for that with a .class extension on it. I run that program and it could not find it. Oh, I typed that in wrong. Forgive me for that. Sometimes I don't type well. And there it is, Hello World. So this is something, again, that's very common. You may be asked to do this in job interviews at times, but typically, anytime you start learning a new programming language, you're going to use and write probably something like this, similar to this, because it gives you a basic structure of what the Java programming language does. So, your assignment here is I would like you to go ahead and use information that we have to get yourself set up with Java if you haven't already, and set this up, set up Java and run and do this exact experiment. You can pause the video and type in that code if you want and put it into a helloworld.java file. Make sure that this class name right here matches the name of the file. Go ahead and compile it and then run it. This is what you're going to be using throughout the whole semester, and it will teach you. You'll begin to learn many things about how the compiler works, how to run and execute programs and build programs, and it's part of learning the Java programming language, because as you learn and you grow in the language, many things become more complex. The beauty of this is there's a very good Gospels comparison to this. We start with small and simple things in the Gospel, and we'll add things as we go through the class, line upon line, precept on precept. And programming is this way. It's not something that you can learn. It's not something you can learn just by doing once or twice. It's something you have to practice at. And each time you practice a new principle in a programming language, you typically have to use previous principles that you've learned. This is something I always love about learning programming languages. I really enjoy coding, and I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. So Again, if you have any questions, you have my contact information. I do have office hours, and so I'm more than happy to get in and discuss things and help you solve problems during office hours, or even if we need to schedule one-on-one time, we can do that as well. Welcome to the class, and good luck on this first assignment.